All right, transition section 2, 10.2, triangles. First thing we're going to look at is some parallel lines. Line B is parallel to line AC, and then we've got these lines intersecting them. When the lines are parallel, some of the angle relationships they create that we talked about in 10.1 end up being congruent angles. Angle 1 and angle 2 are alternate interior angles, and they would be congruent. Similar over here, angle 3 and 4 are alternate interior, they would be congruent. And then a couple other relationships we'll talk about. In any triangle, in triangle A, B, C, angle 1, 5, and 3 always add up to 180 degrees. Similarly, because they form a straight line, angle 2, 5, and 4 would also add up to 180 degrees. A lot of relationships we can have when we have two parallel lines intersected by one transversal is what we call that line. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use some of our angle relationships and triangle theorems to solve. First thing we'll look at is, we know this symbol means 90 degrees. So if this angle is 90 degrees, angle 1 has to be 90 degrees. Then if we know angle 1 is 90 degrees, we can look at this triangle here. It has to add up to 180, so we can say 43 degrees plus 90 degrees plus angle 2 is 180. So if we subtract the 43 and the 90 over, we'll get angle 2 equals 47 degrees. And if angle 2 is 47 degrees, angle 3 is diagonal with it. So we can say that angle 3 is also 47 degrees. Then we can use our 180 degree theorem and say angle 3, which is 47 degrees, plus the 60 degree angle up top, plus angle 4 equal 180. Subtract the 60 and the 47 over. Angle 4 should be 73 degrees. The last part of this picture would be angle 4 and 5 add up to 180 degrees. So if angle 4 is 73 degrees plus angle 5, we can set those equal to 180 degrees. So angle 5 would be 107 degrees. So we've got angle 5, angle 4, angle 3, angle 2, and angle 1. Check. All right, let's get some triangle characteristics down in our notebook. First thing we're going to talk about is acute triangles. All of the angles in that triangle are acute. In a right triangle, exactly one angle has a measure of 90 degrees. And in an obtuse triangle, one of the angles will be obtuse. So that's classification by angles. Then we can do classification by sides. If we have two sides are equal, it's an isosceles triangle. And if we have two sides equal from geometry, we also know that the opposite two angles are also congruent. An equilateral triangle has all sides congruent, and if all sides are congruent, all angles are also congruent. And a scalene triangle, where none of the sides are equal at all. Go ahead and get those in our notebook.